welcome to the live. Okay, I have much needed caffeine with me. Okay, I don't know what it is. It's the weather. It's definitely the weather that has been having me like feeling so like sleepy and wanting to be all cozy and stuff. But I did do some restructuring around the studio. So I have the jeans that I finished. I wore them out for the first time, so that was really fun. And let's see, I also changed a painting. So this is a different painting. And then of course I have my Cash App. My business is Cash App right here that you can, send gifts to. And actually, oh wait, I need to put this in the description, but basically all of my art and everything, you can get that on my website. But today is going to be pretty chill, today's going to be pretty chill in the sense that I am still working on, sorry, I'm like trying to, I'm over here. But yeah, so I'm really excited to just like kind of get into the zone. I am curious to see how it's going to be in the sense that like I'm in monk mode. I'm very tempted to go into monk mode right now. And monk mode for me is essentially where I like lock in, especially around this time of the year. So I usually do that without feeling the need to record it. But I mean, hey. Okay, so let's see. What's today's title gonna be? Painting wearable art. But yeah, I do have some exciting like updates and things like that. So I want to talk about that. And then what else? I also watched this really good mini documentary that really inspired me. It was about Black style, and it's by this YouTube creator called Intellectual. And so I'm also going to talk about that because the whole story of like Dapper Dan and everything, like really understanding like how he came up and like just like I knew who Dapper Dan was. I just didn't necessarily know like why he was so important. But yeah, watching that documentary, I think for me as a fashion designer and everything, it's just like, that's really inspiring. Hi Speed, thanks for saying my hair is gorgeous. I appreciate that. Hi Nani. Welcome. I'm just like trying to update the description so that y'all can know like where to buy my art and everything. Stu Boy says you beautiful. Hi, thank you so much. I hope y'all subscribe. So I do go live every weekday at 3 p.m. from my art studio. And so today I'm going to be painting a jacket, but I'm also like, I was just talking about how usually around this time of the year I go into monk mode in my studio, and so I'm trying to not lean too much into my introvert ways because I know I did say I will be going live every weekday until we hit 1,000 subscribers in this community. So I'm working on it, y'all. I'm trying to like stay consistent. But that's why I have caffeine, because some days I'm like, I really just want to not talk and just paint. But it seems like, I've been able to make like some pretty cool connections with y'all. So thank you to those of y'all who are a part of my community. And if you're not, I invite you to subscribe. This is a high vibrational space, okay? All right, so I've uploaded everything. It should reflect on the video now, hopefully. I don't know. Well, it's gonna have to. It says it's loading, but we'll see. Okay, so let me show y'all what I'm working on, and then like, okay, actually, let's pause. I want to light some incense first and set an intention. Before I get ahead of myself, and then we can talk about like what we've got going on today. So today's intention, I'd say, is radical faith, like faith and self-belief, having that faith in yourself, that you can do anything. That is today's intention. So yeah, I just feel like this is the perfect time of the year to renew that sense of yes, I can, yes, I can. So just clearing out that negativity of limiting beliefs and that negativity of thinking that, we don't have the capabilities when we are literally divine physical embodiments of God consciousness. And like sometimes our best looks different on every day. Some days I'm like, man, I wish I could like just paint something like this every day, but that's just not where my energy levels are every day. Some days it's gonna be, smaller. Some days I want to just paint jeans, or like some days I want to just doodle in my notepad. So I just feel like even whenever my energy levels are fluctuating, I feel like it's very important to lean into faith in like what God has called me to do, and like into faith that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. El Lu says witchery. I rebuke it, Sophia Kwa, your father. Red Tail says heart eyes. Hi Boma. Hi Shelly. Yeah, no, I like to light incense. I wouldn't call incense witchery. That's odd. Yeah, people are weird, but I feel like, I really believe in just like keeping my space high vibrational. And incense and candles, I don't know, they make me feel like, yeah, I don't know, they make me feel good. And so, yeah, I'm going to be deleting. That's another thing. Yesterday, some peeps were coming with some energy I ain't like. And today, Mr. LU, you want to come? I rebuke it. Okay, so anyways, y'all, so I have these jeans that I painted over live like the last couple of weeks, and they're finally finished. But then there's this jacket that I also want to paint. However, we're currently painting this one. Now, last week, yesterweek, I was having some issues because this texture is not like really conducive for painting. So I decided that what I was going to do, also I'm going to turn up the music just a little bit. I decided what I was going to do was like use paint markers instead, and then draw like a portrait, and then put rhinestones and stuff like that on it, but we'll see. But also I want to show y'all something else that I plan on painting, because I do want to work with this brand. And so I'm like, you know what, this is me shooting my shot. So usual style, like touring a library bird, and I feel like even though it's like, okay, I know I'm going to paint more of like an abstract parts of this leather jacket. And I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, what like made them kind of match in the style of abstraction, and then also like with the color palette I choose for the compositions. So yeah, I think that's what I'm really like getting ready to work on, or that's what I really want to be working on. But this always happens. I'll start a project and then I'm like, ooh, I want to work on this, I want to work on that. So I might just like rotate them, because I do want to wear this jacket and this bag to an event that I'm going to. So Brown University, they have a Black alumni like association, and so they're doing an event for the, I guess it's like the anniversary. Is that the right word for like institutions? The birthday of the organization. Basically, yeah, it's that. And so I'm like, ooh, I want to wear stuff that I think, is cute that I created. So I definitely want to work on that stuff this week. Also, sorry, I'm just like trying to crack a window open just a little bit because of the incense, even though it's like cold. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, that's a quick overview of what we've been working on together. But I'm thinking about doing like line art on here and then going from there. But see, I also was thinking about doing a portrait, but then I'm like, maybe I should still do the koi fish design that I wanted to do before. So I don't know. I'm like, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do on the back, but I know like part of me is like, okay, let me tell y'all what I'm going through right now, because I feel like from the outside looking in, it's like, what is this girl on? It's the caffeine, but it's also like I'm trying to decide. Okay. So basically, right now, I have primed it essentially. Like I did a underpainting, and so it has made the texture a little bit more like coarse so that I can actually paint on it. However, I'm kind of like not sure how I want to go about painting. So maybe I'll just start with just like a drawing and we'll go from there. So I think sometimes when I can't decide what to create, I'm just like, you know what, stop thinking. Let's just draw something and go from there. So I think I'm gonna still stick with the portrait idea. So yeah, but okay. What I was talking about, the mini documentary that I watched, so good. It was by this creator called Intellectual, and she does like a lot of history, anthropology, on like black culture and stuff like that. And so basically, she did a documentary on the history of black style in the 20th century in America. Now, obviously, as a fashion designer, as an artist, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is speaking to me. And so yeah, that was really inspiring. I didn't know that the woman who designed the Playboy bunny, waitress outfit, the iconic one that we know, I didn't know that was a black woman. I didn't know that it was a black woman that designed the wedding dress for Jackie Kennedy. I did not know that. So, it was just like really cool to learn about that. And then I think the story that inspired me the most was Dapper Dan's story. So, Dapper Dan, I was saying this earlier. Okay, wait, hold on. Now I'm like, shoot, what do I want to do to the hair? I don't know. What do I want to do to the hair? Okay, you know what? We'll just come to that one later. Okay, but anyways, so Dapper Dan started off like wanting to do wholesale, but nobody, because of his race and racism and all of that stuff, nobody from these wholesale companies wanted to sell to him for him to sell in his boutique. So that's when he got the idea to be like, you know what, let me just design my own stuff. It sounds very familiar. Like, I mean, not that I'm going through like, oh, discrimination because I'm a woman or I'm a black woman or anything, but it just like relates back to like just certain obstacles. We talked about this when we were reading Your First Million, but just certain obstacles that like I think young CEOs who come from underrepresented backgrounds, I think we go through certain obstacles, certain challenges. So I think like for me, I would love to have the capital to just design my own stuff and then hand paint it or like print on my own fabric. But, you know, that's why I'm working on other designers and treating them like a canvas and selling that to y'all instead, until I can like build up to where I can print my own fabrics and things like that. So basically, that was like what Dapper Dan was going through as well in his own way. And so, what he did that was so innovative was his, you know, clientele was a lot of the street guys, you know, the guys that have money from interesting means, the rappers, you know, that kind of crowd. And because he was like a former street guy himself, and so he knew, like he just knew that that part of society. And so those were his customers, and he started taking fabrics, like deconstructing, you know, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, like just really high quality designer logos from luggage, and he took that and started making like these elaborate jackets and coats and stuff. And so all of these like Fendi puffer coats and stuff that you see, that's because of Dapper Dan. And I think it was just really cool. It was really inspirational to learn about his story. And I'm like, they did not teach me this in school. And so like I feel like I'm always trying to make sure I'm staying up to date with the Black history that I take in, because I know that it's not easily accessible. And I think when you have young Black kids assuming or being conditioned to believe that only white people have made, you know, positive contributions to society, then it puts into their mind that they are not able to create something from nothing. So that's why hearing the stories of like Dapper Dan and Lowe, gosh, like Andre Leon Talley, who, yes, we share the same alma mater, Brown University, been putting out some bangers for a minute, okay, me myself included. But Andre Leon Talley, may he rest in peace, like he's another person who I find to be super inspirational, you know, as a Black creator and a Black fashion designer in America. But back to what I was saying about like what happens, I think the repercussions, one of many repercussions that happens when you have Black kids thinking that they can't create anything, like where, you know, there's no funding for the arts, no funding for fashion, all of that stuff, is it puts them in this, you know, space where they only view white people as creators. And I say this all the time, that creation is our most innate expression of God consciousness as humans. Like, I think it is through our creation that we are able to really step into that energy of like divinity that we all have. And so when Black kids are not encouraged to lean into that, then how are we able to view like and celebrate the God within? Like, we're only seeing that expression of God consciousness through a certain demographic, or, you know, seeing funding to allow that expression to thrive and scale. I just feel like it's really important for us to look at the history of Black people who have made something from nothing in this country and have, you know, essentially turned culture on its head. Like, even Tina Knowles, who I know a lot of people don't view her as like anything beyond Beyonce's mom. She ate with that. But like, I feel like even Tina Knowles is a perfect example of a woman who was very intentional and scrappy. She made all of the Destiny's Child looks, and when people were calling them essentially ghetto, meanwhile, I'm over here like, growing up, I wanted to wear everything Destiny's Child wore. But Tina Knowles is also an example of someone who I think used Black ingenuity to really like steer culture forward. And so I think like for those of us who are artists, designers, authors, playwrights, poets, photographers, those of us who are contributing positively to the archive, the Black archive of creativity, especially during this time where it's just like super tumultuous, we're doing the Lord's work. And it's very important for us to do what we're doing. I honestly just feel like it's a Black Renaissance. Okay. Hi, Patricia. Welcome. I hope you guys will subscribe. I hope that, you're enjoying. I love to talk about Black African culture, history, as it pertains to like art, fashion, intellectualism, Black consciousness, and just like using creativity to decolonize mind, body, and spirit. And so right now I'm painting a jacket. I'm just like kind of doing the outline and just kind of seeing, how I want it to look. The face is looking a little lopsided right now, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm just like, okay, just sketching it out and seeing what I want to fix and stuff when I paint it. But yeah, I encourage y'all to subscribe. Je m'appelle Paulina, je suis la fille de Patricia. Wait, hold on. Let me see if je comprends ça. Ok, je m'appelle Paulina, je suis la fille de Patricia. Oh, okay, well, bonjour, je m'appelle Odemi. Je suis une artiste. This is actually perfect because, okay, gosh, how do I say this? J'ai étudié les langues françaises pendant lycée pour 3 années. Aussi pendant l'université pour 4 années. Mais maintenant, j'oublie beaucoup de mots et la grammaire parce que ici en Georgie, il n'y a pas beaucoup de personnes francophones. So that's why I feel like if I had more people to practice with, maybe I need to join like a what's it called? A language club or something. I have been thinking about joining a club, like, since everybody wants to act like we're still in high school. Literally, like, since my generation wants to act like this is still high school, college, teens, let me just go and join a club. I want to join a pickleball club. I do. So random, but I do. I just feel like because after my knee injury, so I tore my meniscus. And now that it's kind of like healed to a place where I can dance again, I can do certain yoga poses again, I'm like, okay, I need to get like active, but I want to meet people. And I've never been on a sports team before. Well, I did like cheerleading club when I was younger, but obviously I was more into art club and stuff like that. And like Model UN and all of that. And DECA. Actually, now that I think about it, there were a lot of clubs that I loved, but never sports. So I'm thinking about like joining just like a club or something. Definitely not a running club. I did do running club now that I think about it. I did. Never doing that again. Do not put me in a running club. But I think pickleball, I can get a cute little fit or two. Pickleball, why not? Cucumber ball. I don't know, man. Hardy har har. Very funny. But yeah, like I think that, or maybe I might take up swimming. Like, I don't know. I just know I need something that can get my knee back active. And I thought about golf because there's like so many golf courses around where I live, and they're so pretty, but I'm like, it's cold. Like, I need an indoor sport. So swimming or pickleball, I think. But yeah. Okay, so I don't even want to show you guys what it's looking like because the sketch looks really wonky. The dimensions are off, but when I paint it, I'm gonna fix it. So I'm just like painting, or I'm gonna paint this. But right now, oh, actually, damn. Every time I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that good, then I look at it in the camera and I'm like, oh wait, duh, this is actually your job. Like, you're actually pretty good at this. Like, even when it's not my final form, I don't know, I'm like, ooh. I'm seeing the vision. I am seeing it. Okay. I think right now I'm just like not sure what to do with her hair. Let me see. Let's go on Pinterest because I kind of want to do like a indigenous African hairstyle, but I don't want to just do like a, a fro. Nothing wrong with the fro, but like I think I want to do like a braided hairstyle or something. No one says that is green like a pickle. Is it for pickleball? No, this is just a trench that I'm painting like for fun. Well, not just for fun, for my company. But my company is fun. So I'm an artist and a fashion designer. And right now I'm launching wearable art pieces, kind of like these jeans that I painted. And I'm in the process of developing a ready to wear and a couture line featuring my artwork printed directly on fabric. But I also love hand painting fabric. So, like, here's an example of a bag that I painted, just a Kate Spade bag. I'm still not done with it, like, but I just feel like, this is a way for me to branch out of my typical canvas and like my typical mediums. I think wearable art is just like where I feel called to pour all of my energy into right at this moment. Like for the rest of the year, I'm just focused on developing my fashion line, making more designs, painting more stuff, like doing commissions. No one says those look nice. Thank you. So yeah, like I sell my art and I sell my fashion designs. Like so right now my original designs, not like hand painted um pieces from different designers, but like my original designs I have handmade Napa leather bags that I work with the studio in London to make, and they print my artwork onto the leather and then are able to handcraft the bags. And then I have organic cotton t-shirts featuring my artwork. So I just like kind of wanted to start off with simple like casual pieces and then work my way up. Okay, wait, hold on. I can't even like see. I can't even see the comment laptop. No one says you don't need to worry. Thank you. like 22 when I first ever heard that term, and I was like, what? I remember, and I was like straight out of college, and this was when I was working in advertising and PR. And so like that industry, I don't know if it's still like this, but it was a lot of like parties and a lot of cocktail hour type of things. And so I was pretty like out and about when I was living in Manhattan, and this was pre-COVID too, so it was fun. And I remember I would always like have plugins with the party promoters, which they need to bring this back, okay? Because One Oak is gone, Up and Down is gone. Like can you guys see me? This is so odd. This is very odd, actually. Can y'all see me? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Technical difficulties might be. But okay, so good day. How art thou? Diplomatic cigar. Okay, so this is what we're working with now on the jacket. And I was saying how I'm almost tempted to not paint it and kind of have it be like a line art type of design. Every time I check in, it would have been fixed. But I guess. Listen, what's that song? I'm just a girl in the world. Listen, I'm just trying my best, okay? Because I was looking at the screen and I was like, yeah, this has been loading for a hot minute. But yeah, thanks for joining. be sure to like the video. But okay, now I'm just like kind of thinking how I want to go about this. Okay, I guess I want to do, let's start out by picking the colors. Like, I think sometimes I get a little bit overwhelmed when it's time to add a new layer to the stuff. But then I'm kind of like, maybe I should just start off with the face and the skin. I don't know. Diplomatic Cigar says, ha ha ha, you're doing well. I'm proud of you. Thank you. I love to hear it because like I said, I'm trying my best. But okay, so I think I'm gonna do red and white for the shirt. Or I was thinking maybe either red and white, or maybe I'll just do, maybe I'll do like a red lip or something. Because remember I said I wanted it to have like a Parisian feel. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe red, white, black, and brown. I don't want it to be like super duper duper colorful, like, you know, but it is still gonna have color. I don't know. So, okay, let's say I do black and white for the top, so the horizontal stripes, and then a red lip, and then for the hair, that's always what gets me. Do I want to do black for the hair, or maybe like a deep violet? Maybe I'll do like this for the hair. Actually no. Because I know like I did bright pink hair for this. I'm not necessarily trying to do that. So that's why I'm like, I don't even know what to do for the hair. And I'm not exactly sure where to start. See, this is always where I get a little bit indecisive. Okay, you know what I'll do? I'll start with the painting of the skin. That's what we'll do first. So I'm just gonna use this brown, especially because I think that this is going to show up very pretty. And then I also have, I'm not exactly sure if I want to use that though. Maybe I might make her hair like yellow. I don't know. I mean, I still obviously want it to be a striking depiction of a woman. I just don't want it to like be something that takes me too long, because remember y'all, I did say I wanted to paint some other stuff, which let me show you guys. Let me show you, because I'm actually really excited about painting this bag, because this is a brand I want to work with. So I'm shooting my shot. So this is a Tory Burch bag that my sister gave me. Now it's not my typical style, but like I like it. Like it's very, I don't know, it's not like a typical shape I would go for. I think I usually go for more like structured bags. Even the hobo bags that I designed still have that like trapezoid structure. But because I plan on painting this leather moto jacket, I was looking and I was like, wait, I feel like I would totally wear those together. So I kind of want to paint a similar like abstract pattern on it. Something like really minimalist, like a black, white, beige type of thing. Because there's a painting that I have in my store that I'm like, yeah, I think that would look really cute. So I will be sourcing some designer bags and stuff like that from some of my favorite brands, and then I will like get those new, because I don't want to paint stuff and sell them pre-loved. Like I feel like if it's been worn, I'll just paint it and keep it in my closet so people can see, you know, what they can order. But I'd rather just buy some new stuff and then paint that and sell that, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna get started on, like I said, the skin. Oh gosh, so nerve-wracking. think I'm gonna put, yeah, I think I'm gonna start with this one. But I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Oh, there was something else that I saw this weekend. Okay, so I watched that documentary, which is really good, Black Style in the 20th Century. Like, Black people in America have been doing some really dope stuff for a hot minute, and like, that's why I feel like Black history should not just be something we endeavor to learn about in February in the US. Like, I just love seeing creators share stuff because it's inspirational. Like, when I was learning about Dapper Dan's story, like, I really needed to hear that. I really needed to see how someone was literally essentially doing what I'm doing right now in their own way. And like, it reminds us that we're not alone and that there is a blueprint for everything. Like, even Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun. Like, everything has been done before. And so that's why I think it goes back to what I said about like being able to honor that expression of God consciousness. Like, when you know that you have the power to create, it just puts you in a different mindset. Okay, so I'm trying to see, let's see how this is gonna go now that I have the green underpainting, which I think so far is making painting this better. I'm still not crazy about how like the streak marks are kind of looking, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. That's why I was like, I want the composition to be very, very simple on this, because this faux leather, I'm not feeling it. Reminder, we'll only be painting on real leather from now on because this took a lot. I wonder if there's maybe like a primer or something I can use to harden it without making it like stiff. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna make it like a fairly simple yet striking portrait. And then I'm gonna add the jewels and stuff. So, oh, I just had an idea. I think I'm going to use the rhinestones for her hair, because I have them there like on the other side of my studio. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be really cute. And then in terms of the jacket, like the jacket sleeves, I might do, I don't know actually. I kind of want to do some type of line pattern, but I want it to be something that I can probably just do with the paint markers. So yeah, we'll see. Okay. Yeah, I think the underpainting definitely made this a lot better. But what I used is Liquitex, my favorite paint brand, and their fabric medium. So if you ever want to paint something, I'd say like if you ever want to paint fabric, what I'm learning is different fabrics require different prep. Like with the material like this one, it's very different from what was required for me to paint like this type of leather, which has like a graininess to it. So I think if you are painting on leather that is really shiny and you don't want there to be a whole bunch of like brush stroke marks, definitely do like 2 or 3 layers of an underpainting first and then do it. Because this one, like that I'm painting now, I don't know. Like now everything is going on smoothly, but it was, if you were watching like last week, it was a struggle. I like literally had to put it to the side. I was like, okay, this is annoying me. But that's why I'm like, okay, now that it's annoying, or now that it's no longer like super annoying to paint, let me just get it over with. So that way I can get started on this jacket. I am excited to paint that. But oh yeah, the other thing that I saw that made me feel really happy this weekend was Atlanta, my hometown, my city that I have had such a complicated relationship with, just because of like the opportunities given to artists in the city. I think, like, I've talked about this on here, just how like Atlanta's art scene is very much so still developing. But like, we have the High Museum definitely has a team that is really working towards expanding programming. And then, I'm even an influencer for the Creators for Change program at the Civil and Human Rights Museum. And so, like, I know that there's on the ground efforts being made to make this a city where art is appreciated, and like history and things like that, like just elevating the city a bit more. And so I remember seeing that Vogue Business did an article on Atlanta as an emerging, like, or not emerging, but like just how it's boistering its luxury fashion scene. And as a fashion designer, of course, like, I have those conversations with myself, like, dang, like, do I need to be in another city? Like, because I'll have these thoughts, like, I don't know if Atlanta has the infrastructure that, let's say, a New York has. Now, it doesn't have as much competition in certain industries. Like, I can count on how many hands the times I've met people who are, doing like art full time here, or who are doing, they're a fashion designer full time. Like, not as much as I would meet in New York, for sure. So I definitely think that while the infrastructure is still developing, it's kind of not horrible, because there's not that much barrier to entry. It's just like easy to enter. However, the expansion, like climbing the hill, you're not only just climbing the set hill, but sometimes I think being an artist here feels like I'm also like setting stones to like make an actual clear path upwards. Whereas in other cities, sometimes there might be like a more clear path. So I think that was just really affirming that I think I'm in the right place at the right time. And I always tell myself, bloom where you're planted, but it is easier said than done. Especially when, I've lived in other cities where it can be perceived as easier to be an artist. But I do think it's like really cool to see that there is that focus like on Atlanta and what is coming out of Atlanta. Because I do think people can sometimes be a bit like condescending towards Atlanta. I remember I had a friend, of course, this friend went to Yale, so you can already know what to expect. And yes, I have, all of the Ivies have their own grad that they like to do. I like to say that Brown, we have the best reputation, if you ask me, but I digress. So this friend was like, oh, honey, the girls are not going to Atlanta. Now, I don't know if it's because of the identity difference, because this friend is a part of the LGBTQ community, and like I feel like that community in Atlanta has its own stereotypes and everything. So I don't know if that was more informed by that, but I do encounter this energy of like, oh, what is there in Atlanta? Like, it's just rappers, violence, baby mama, Jada Wada, Lil Baby, like that kind of thing. And even me, sometimes I'm like, man, like, can we not like place this on a pedestal? Like, there's so many different expressions of blackness in this city, and there's a really rich history of, like, this is, the birthplace of the civil rights movement, essentially, in the US. And so I feel like there's just so much in Atlanta that I sometimes have to like zoom out and just appreciate, like step back and see that, you know what, that same historical foundation that we had with, you know, the John Lewis's, the MLKs, the Maynard Jacksons, like we still have that energy. We just have to harness it and keep, you know, staying well read on our history and like the history of people who have created things before us. So I'm gonna do my best to highlight that history, but also be a part of making history. Like, this is the best time to be an artist, if you ask me. It's the best time. Oh my gosh, like, paradigms are crumbling, the world is going through massive change. Every creative has something to say right now. Everybody has something to say right now, but I would rather see that, for me, I'm not like policing anybody, but like I prefer to see it said through art, poetry, dance, fashion, like, not to come for anything or anybody, like this is just my opinions, okay? But I think there's a difference in the effort that it takes to sit down, write an essay, write a blog about something than it does to like get on TikTok and just flap away, like flap your mouth. What did my teacher used to say? Flapping your gums on the internet. And it's like, obviously, you know, I'm going live, but I took the time to, for the longest time, I resisted like relying on any of these platforms for anything. I was like, I'm gonna write my book, books plural, like I'm gonna, you know, publish this book and keep writing other books. And like I think it was a little bit of that academic elitism like coming out, where I was like, no, like I feel like the best way I can say certain things is through this medium and through that. But I do think, while I do believe that social media does have a time and a place to, you know, just start discourse and like disseminate information and like teach history and all of that stuff, I don't also see it like taking us forward as a society in the same way that literature and art does. Like, there's a reason we still look at Frida Kahlo and we still like analyze her work and what it was saying about the female condition in a post-colonial world, and like what it means to essentially like transmute and alchemize pain into beauty, like as a woman artist. Like, what does that mean and what does that look like? There's a reason we still look to her. There's a reason we still read writers and artists from, like, why is Ida B. Wells still relevant? Why is Langston Hughes still relevant? Like, there's a reason why we had that. I don't think it would have been the same to read Dreams Deferred, like that poem, as it is to like maybe like if they had the internet back then, like watch a TikTok clip of Langston Hughes or read his poetry. Go see a play live or see a skit on TikTok. Like, I think that's like where it's coming to. Like, it's gonna be like a very clear demarcation between like different ways of experiencing art and the human experience. So I'm excited personally as an artist. Like, I think it will be good to see, because I still love the theater. I love to see a live play. I really do. I love to see like live music and people creating live, like, which is why I like painting live and stuff. So I'm excited to see what is coming next. But yeah, particularly seeing, you know, my city highlighted as a place to watch, it makes me feel good about being here, because sometimes I be feeling like, oh my gosh, is this like, did I make a mistake coming back to Atlanta to do this? Like, you know, those thoughts will definitely happen every now and then. But I've learned I have to just do me, and the right people will find me, the right opportunities will find me. Like, I keep on thinking back to like a big testimony from this year. Being invited to be in that show at TikTok was like a huge deal for me because I'm in a show with people who have tens of thousands of followers, and I was like, how did I even, like, I had to ask the curator. I was like, you picked 6 people nationally. How did I even like get in the running, you know? And she was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I was searching for a certain type of vibe, and I was looking through the hashtags and this and this. And so even when you look now and people are like, oh, hashtags don't work, this is how you grow, this is how you do this. I think how you grow, if you're an artist, not just a content creator, because I think it's very different if you're an artist who is just sharing your art versus like content creation. To me can be like sales, it can be like education, it can be entertainment. But I think specifically for the people who use the internet and these platforms to share their art, like they create stuff and they're sharing it, I think I just want to make that distinction. I think the best thing you can do is just show up authentically and just share what you're doing and share your passion with people, and just trust that the right people will be able to appreciate it and go from there. Like all of the do this to go viral, do this, like I feel like that stuff doesn't work for art. Like I don't know, I just feel like as an artist people care about what are you making, like did you make art, yes or no, did you paint, yes or no. Because I remember I went to this like private event for members at the High Museum of Art, which is our art museum in Atlanta. And I met the director of the museum, and they were just talking about new acquisitions that they were making. This was around like last year, I think. New acquisitions that they were making for their African art in the High Museum. And I think they've like broadened their textile art collection, which I actually need to go. They have a Victor and Rolf exhibition that is on right now at the High Museum, and then they also have an Andre Leon Talley exhibition at SCAD. So I'm like I feel like that Mr. Krabs meme where I'm like, I need to go to all of these exhibits. Like, I need to go. Like, I need to go. So I think I'm going to put that on my list to do for November, because October has just been really, like, packed for whatever reason. But I remember I was talking to the director, and I was like, what advice would you have for, you know, a young artist such as myself? And he was like, he was like, basically no one really cares until you make it. Like, and when I look at all of the artists, they just kept creating, kept sharing, kept creating, kept sharing. Like, create as much art as you can, essentially, and then the right people will see it. Like, at the end of the day, most people drop off at like a certain time, you know what I'm saying? Like, when they see how hard it is, most people are like, yeah, you know what, I think I'm gonna do something else. But that like clears out the air. Like, you know how they say like the air is thinner at the top, pretty much that, you know. And so I feel like I'm feeling good about being in Atlanta, better than I have I think in the past. So I think there's like a Black Renaissance that's happening. I see it. Atlanta, I'm seeing it. Dallas, I'm seeing it. Where else have I been seeing like some cool stuff coming out of? I don't know. I've been drawn to the art scene in New Orleans. Yeah, I'm curious. And then I think like Baltimore, DC area, but mostly Baltimore. I think there's probably some cool stuff happening in the Black art scene there right now. I'm curious. Okay, let's see. Diplomatic Cigar says you should take all that money and come back to South Africa. I want to come to South Africa. I do remember you're supposed to be helping me get an art show down there. You're supposed to help me out. Okay, so let's continue painting. So I think what I'll do next is I'll do this color. I just kind of want the face to be done. Let's see, it's like 4:30. Let's see how much I finish up by 5. I just feel like I've been also chatting it up. But you know, I had things that I wanted to say. Can you blame me? Like, I have thoughts. Yesterday, my mom asked me, she was like, "Were you okay today? Like, you just seemed a little bit tired all night." And I was like, "Mom, I'm cold. It's Monday, girl." Like, but I had to show up. So that's why today I was like, okay, let me make sure, you know, I got my coffee and everything that I need. Okay. So I'm gonna use a little bit of this like golden color. Um, Let me see how it looks first, and then I'll just. Oh wow. Well, I accidentally flipped some paint, so I guess we're using it. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. I'm about to show y'all what it's looking like. This is what I'm talking about in the sense that this leather is kind of pissing me off. Diplomatic Cigar says, "I didn't forget. LOL. Haven't been to office again. Working from home." Okay, I forgive you. I believe you. I believe you. But yeah, like I definitely am open to doing something in South Africa. But yeah, I'm just really excited, y'all. Like I've started um finalizing the designs for my line, like the next iteration of the line. I feel like I've just been doing slow but steady. Like I just wanted to see, I think for my first pieces that I released, I wanted to just have an idea of like what is my supply chain going to look like? Like how long does it take for certain things to be made? How do I go about engaging with suppliers? Like even for my framing, I'm about to switch to a new company, and I just feel like, you know, all of this stuff, sometimes it used to overwhelm me because I genuinely thought that I would be spending more time painting in the early parts of building an art business, but really, honestly, I spent a lot of time doing a lot of that admin, sourcing, procurement, like just really making sure certain things make sense. Like, how do I fulfill orders? How long does it take to fulfill things? Like, I just wanted to make sure that I was not slacking in that area. And so now that I have a lot of that figured out, it makes me more excited to actually sit down again and like sketch, you know, designs and sketch like, okay, you know, how do I want to do this and how do I want to do that? What I really do need though at this point in time, I just need an atelier um, in Atlanta. So I think I might just go to SCAD or something and go to their fashion department and be like, who can I hire here? Like, I need a student, a freelancer who is hungry for work, because I feel like I had found this manufacturing company, fashion manufacturing, not too far from where I live, but I just feel like they might be better for a later stage of my company. Right now, I just want to develop the samples, have them modeled, have them do the product shoots and everything, and then do kind of like made to order. Because I think another thing I've learned from watching, you know, these interviews of fashion designers, it's like you don't need to start off with all this inventory off rip. Like you just need to make the designs, finalize the designs, and you know, do a few, test them out. And so it's like I know, at least from what I've shared with y'all, like those of y'all who, you know, like watching my sewing videos and stuff like that, I feel like I've shared some dresses and stuff like that. But I think why I'm excited about working with, you know, silhouettes from brands that already exist, like legacy brands, I can see what do I want to develop for my line. Like, how do I want it to be different? How do I want it to be similar? Like, stuff like that. Okay. So, yeah. All right. This is going so far. I'm going to add a little bit of like a darker red to, hold on, to the face, because right now she's looking a little interesting. You probably can't see, but like, I feel like what is somewhat annoying about this leather is that it takes so long to dry. But it is what it is. But I think it's coming along pretty well. Okay, I just want to make sure that like maybe I'm getting enough coverage. So let's see if maybe a different brush will work. This is looking a lot better. Like, I was just like, maybe it's the brush I was using. It was not giving what it needed to give. Oh, I'm so excited to see how this turns out. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go to the store sometime this week and get some pieces and paint those and sell them. Because I know that I said I wanted to launch the commissions first, which commissions will definitely still be available. But when I think about consumer behavior and the type of people who, just going based off of art too, just going based off, the types of people who like things bespoke and who like want to be, who want to do the back and forth of like having something custom made, not everybody has the patience for that. And so while it is going to be an option and stuff, I don't want the basis of my company to rely on, or the basis of my wearable art offerings to rely on that. Like, I hope that makes sense. Like, I'd rather just have painted ready to wear stuff, because I remember someone on live was like, oh, are you going to sell these? And because they're my jeans, I'm like, I don't want to sell something that has been used already, unless it's like premium vintage, of course. But like, these are just my jeans that I bought a couple of years ago. Like, that doesn't count as vintage. So with that being said, I am going to start sourcing some pieces that I can turn into art for y'all, and then so that way they can be like, you see it, you can buy it, cool. You don't have to wait like this lead time of a couple of weeks. And also, I'm just thinking for myself, like, everything that I've got going on, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, I think commissions are great, but I've freelanced before, and essentially it's very similar to, let me not get any paint on this. It's very similar to commissions, and in the sense that you give people an ounce of power like that, in terms of like saying, oh, I want it this way, I want it this way, I want it. It can be so much, like a lot of back and forth, and I think that's why a lot of artists don't take commissions. But I do want to be able to like have that option for sure. It's just like, I'd rather put energy moving forward into painting pieces that y'all can actually see me painting them and then buy them. Like, because what's the point of me like I mean, obviously like I'm gonna wear it, but like, what's the point of me painting this if somebody can't enjoy it, you know, beyond myself? So yeah. But I am still gonna paint some pieces just so I can like do some cool photo shoots and stuff like that with my art and my designs and stuff. So let me show you guys what the jacket is looking like right now. I think this brush definitely helped, but I'll put this right here. Okay, let me show you guys what it is looking like thus far. So it's not done, as you can see, but I'm really vibing with it, and I'm really excited to add like the rhinestones, the jewels, everything. It does have a lining, so I'm gonna have to do like stuff that I can glue on with fabric glue, probably, which that's okay. That's fine. What I really want to do is I want to do a pair of I want to do like denim where I do hand beaded embroidery and art. So I'm just like, I have this idea for, I don't even know how else to explain it. But I just know I have like the vision in my head. I have it in my head, and I'm like, okay, like this is what it's gonna be. But okay, so I'm gonna let this dry for now, and now I'm gonna just, I think what I'll do is I'll use a paint marker for the black and white. Or should I do red and white? No. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the black and white. I literally feel like a child right now. This is stuff that I used to love doing. Like, I used to love doing stuff like this. I mean, I'd get in trouble for it. So it's like, it's fun now that my job is actually like, is actually painting on stuff and like deconstructing and reconstructing pieces of clothing. And I remember there was like a pair of jeans. I think I like tried to do, you know, the rips on the knees and stuff like that. My mom was pissed. Like, she was like, tis that I spent money on. Like, no, girl, absolutely not. So that's actually how I got into thrifting and stuff like that, because I just felt like, okay, if I thrift, then, oops, it's used, so then I can experiment and make different stuff. So I just think it's funny how everything comes full circle. Like, I knew I wanted to do this, and I feel like the advice that I'd have for kids in college, or not even college, high school, is it's never too early to start thinking about what you want to do, and like putting in the work and like sowing the seeds for that knowledge. Because when I was in high school, I was the president, two-time president, thank you very much, of this club called DECA. And DECA was a club where we would do competitions at this county, state, and national level. Yes, your girl did place at nationals twice. period. But basically, you know, I would compete in things like retail merchandising and fashion marketing, and the competitions looked like you would have to present a business plan essentially, or like some type of business pitch in your category to a panel of adult professional judges, and you would get ranked on things like clarity and strategy. So basically it was just a club for if you knew you wanted to be an entrepreneur, it was the club for you. So if you're in high school in the US, definitely try to join DECA if you're like, you know, you want to do stuff like this eventually. Sorry, I'm going to use the black paint because, yeah. Actually, also, I don't even want to use my palette. I think I'm going to use this. It's literally a candle top, but I think I'm going to turn it into something that I can put paint in, but like my really dark colors, because random, but I don't like when I have like black and stuff on my palette. I just feel like it just does the most, but I don't mind having it here. Okay, but yeah, like joining that club taught me a lot about just fashion and like fashion development, what is that, fashion business and all of that. And so like, yeah, I just feel like, when you're young, you're super impressionable, and that can be a good thing. Like if you can hack the way in which you're impressionable up until when your what's it called, frontal lobe develops, it can really set you ahead of the curve. Okay, so let's see, because yeah, I feel like I just needed to use actual paint. I might have added like way too much fabric medium, but we'll see. All right. Okay. You know what? As I'm painting this, I'm realizing, dang, like I probably should have used painter's tape, but then I'm like, would it have even stick? Like, would it have stuck? I mean, I don't know. So now I'm like, I have to be really careful. I'm trying to make these lines as straight as I can, but I also don't really mind if it doesn't look like perfect. I don't know. Like, I think it's like maybe an effect of being inundated with AI art. I don't really want things to, like, I want it to look like a human made it. How about that? Like, I want it to look like an artist, took their time and made it. And human error, like, that's a part of art, and that's a part of what makes art so enjoyable. Even though I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to see too many paint strokes and stuff like that, or paintbrush strokes on the finished painting. I'm like, well, still that shows that this was handcrafted, and I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I'm gonna just do the black stripes first, and then I'll go in with the white. And then ideally I finish this jacket this week because I really do want to wear a few more pieces too. So I have like 3 events coming up in the next week. I feel like a socialite. No, literally, like I always said I wanted my job to be being an artist and then having to like attend events. Like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll be an artist and socialite. That's what I'll do. I blame Gossip Girl. I'm like, when I was younger, I think I really liked Serena's character. She wanted to go to Actually, hold up. I liked Lily's character. My good sis, and I love that she went to Brown. So literally, I was like, yeah, Lily gets it. Although Lily had flaws, to say the least, but Lily, she had a vision for her life and she executed. I'll give her that. She was not the best mom though, and Serena was crazy. But I say all this to say, now that I'm older, I can really vibe with Blair a bit more. Like she was ahead of her time, and I feel like she had some great attributes that were unfortunately stunted by her immaturity. Like she was in high school, so her execution sucked sometimes. But I think her head was always kind of like in the right place. Like she always had her head in the game. But I think how she went about things, I don't know. But I just like how she was able to like still express her feminine side, but she was really a good example of what it looks like to harness your sage and huntress energy as a woman, which I think are ways in which we're able to alchemize our masculine energy in a way that is advantageous and beneficial to us as women, especially in a patriarchal society. Like, I feel like Blair she was strategic and she was calculating. Sometimes she took it too far. Sometimes she took it like way too far. However, I feel like she was just really smart and she always knew like she like gave you like Cleopatra energy. Like she was always thinking one step ahead and yeah, she was always playing chess. Meanwhile, her mates were playing checkers. So I say all this to say that like when she decided to take over her mom's fashion company and then she was also focused on like just, you know, developing her presence in New York society and stuff. I just feel like where I am in my life, it feels like I'm in my Blair Waldorf, you know, kind of vibe, but in a good way, in a good way. In a good way, because Chuck Bass was crazy, but you know, I could do a little Chuck Bass. I could do it. Just minus the father who was crazy and everything else, and like trying to sell me to your uncle. Yeah, the relationship was actually kind of crazy. But I would rewatch Gossip Girl. I just have to give it a couple of years because I'm pretty sure that I rewatched Gossip Girl this year, or at least like the last season. Okay. So this is going. I'm trying to keep the lines super straight, but it's something. It's something else, but I'll probably keep working on this. Actually, I'm supposed to fax something, but it's so ugly outside right now that I don't even know if I want to do the errands that I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm supposed to print and mail some stuff, but I like when it's cold and sunny, not just cold and rainy. Like, there's two, okay, I don't mind the rain. I just feel like I like the rain when it's warm. I know some people don't like humidity, but I actually like humidity. So I can do that. But right now it's rainy, cold, and gray. Like, you gotta give me one. Like, something's gotta give. But yeah, I'll probably get off in like 10-15 minutes or so. But I feel like we've had a good time today. Of course, I go live every weekday at 3 p.m. And for the time being, I have been working on my wearable art collection and just different pieces of wearable art that you can buy from my store, Alaere Lifestyle, which, by the way, I'm Odemi Pesu, CEO and founder of Alaere Lifestyle. But yeah, like, I just feel, I don't know, it's been really cool documenting this journey. And so I really encourage you, if you haven't done so, to subscribe and also give this live a thumbs up. And if you want to support my artistry, you can cash out Alaere Lifestyle or purchase any of my art pieces at my website, which is in the description of this video. But yeah, so as far as the cash outs go, you will be able to get, everybody who sends anything towards me opening my physical space will get a mini print of one of my original pieces, and then gifts of $20 or more will go into winning whatever this canvas becomes. And so my larger originals are usually priced at like $5K and higher, and so those are the pieces that I work primarily with galleries to show. And so if you want to be eligible to win one of my originals, then yeah, donations of $20 or more will get you closer to doing that. But I do sell my Giclée prints framed on my website, which I'm excited because I finally found, so I wanted to expand my framing options because thus far I've just been doing like plain black wooden and just sticking with that. But I do want to, I want to add to the customer experience for sure. I'm always thinking about that. And so I am adding new framing options. I just have to like meet with, oh, not my selfie light just went out, but like I just have to meet with the new supplier, and I think that will like give me a chance to ask some questions about like how long it takes to fulfill those orders when I work with them for the framing. So yeah, I think I don't even know if that like if y'all can still see me now, but okay. Yeah, this light is not as bright as the other one. And like I said, it's like so dark outside. So I am gonna like get off live very soon. Let's see if maybe I can like turn this. I don't know. I think that's another thing I'll probably get. Like, I think I might just save these smaller selfie lights for when I go out and I have to make content at stuff. Or, yeah, I think that's what I'll do. And then I'll just get like a super big one that I can at least use while it's plugged up as well. Because I'm like, these things, you guys just like to go out. Ordinary 2 hours, boom, it's already done. But that's okay, because I did say I would get off around 5. But yeah, I feel like today was really good. Main takeaways were Black people are so inspirational. Love that for us, because I'm telling you, check out that documentary by Intellectual Media on YouTube. It's called Black Style in the 20th Century or something like that. And like beyond that, even, oh yeah, another thing that happened this weekend that I forgot, because the documentary mentioned fashion fair and like the fashion fair by Ebony magazine, like that whole traveling fashion show. And the Johnsons were just so like, they did it. They were doing it, because I grew up reading Ebony, and I grew up, you know, having that subscription come to my house every month. And it was just so beautiful to always see like these representations of Black creativity, leadership, everything. And I think we really needed that type of publication. But I remember I went to Macy's this weekend to get a top to wear with the jeans that I painted. And I gravitated towards this makeup display. I was like, oh, these colors, because some of my makeup is running out. And I'm one of those people who I like to use everything to the final drop. And so I'm looking, I'm like, oh wait, this is Fashion Fair. And like, ever since they were recently acquired by the founders of Black Opal, Black Radiance, I haven't really seen, you know, them in person, like in stores and retail stores. And I grew up seeing my mom use Fashion Fair cosmetics and all of that. And so I was just really excited to see it. And then also, like, I met this, my cashier. She was so pretty. She was like, oh my gosh, I love your bag. And I was like, thanks. I designed it. And so she was like, oh my gosh, like, you're a designer. So we were talking, and she looked very beautiful. So I thought she was a model. Turns out she was. So we exchanged info, and like, she was like, yeah, she'd be interested, you know, in modeling for my line. And I was just like, I love this. Like, that is literally what Miss Johnson, I think her name was Eunice. I think it was Eunice Johnson. That's what she was doing when she launched Fashion Fair Cosmetics. Like, literally the Fashion Fair runway show that they used to do, raising millions of dollars for charities and for like HBCUs and things like that. It all started because literally these white designers would not give them money, or not money, they would not give them clothing to show in their fashion shows. And so she started designing pieces, working with Black designers, and it blew up into this thing. And then like also a lot of the shades of makeup were not, they didn't like work for, you know, the Black models and things like that. Then this was also, there was, you know, Jim Crow and everything. And so I think Black creativity and fashion and in art and in all of these trivialized industries, I think it actually does matter. And I think it can be a vehicle of not only maintaining our sovereignty, but also just like staying in that mode of God consciousness and being able to create and create freely and create from a place of inner joy, because our art, our fashion, like that is what we use to express ourselves. I am a Nigerian woman. Like, I am not meant to walk through life wearing black and gray. I'm not mourning. I'm not mourning life now. Like, I am somebody who I deserve to wear vibrant colors. Like, to me, that is the wealth that we have been given in this life. And, like, we didn't have to pay for it. Like, we literally just have color and beauty around us. And so why wouldn't I want to, like, for me, when I think about like my art and my fashion designs, I'm like, why wouldn't I want to celebrate that, you know? Jalen Davis says, wonderful, thank you. Yeah, like I feel so inspired, honestly, like thinking about Fashion Fair, just seeing them and just seeing these legacy brands, these Black legacy brands thrive. Like, I'm really trying to gear myself up for buying more Black owned products in 2026. Like, I want it to genuinely be something I'm intentional about. I'm already pretty picky as a consumer, but I've been seeing a lot of brands that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm also like, okay, thankfully there are brands that I've always liked that, you know, they're not doing anything crazy. Like Steve Madden, I'm like, you can never make me hate Steve Madden. Even after I watched Wolf of Wall Street, like, I don't care. Like, he's on it. Like, he's just so funny to me. He's like, yeah, I know. I like everything y'all have accused me of, I know. And he's for the girls. And I feel like Ralph Lauren will always be a great brand. And I love their, like what they did, you know, with the HBCUs and Martha's Vineyard and everything. Like, I think if you're not promoting Black excellence, oops, I don't want to get paint on my, oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. This is what my mom said. She was like, don't wear your nice sweaters or else you'll get paint on them. Is whatever, I'll fix it. But anyway, Shad, like what I was saying is I feel like I'm at a place where if I don't see myself in the branding, I am not buying from you. I'm not doing it, you know? And like when I go on Chanel, I see Black people. But when I go on certain other brands in the luxury space, I don't see Black models. So it's just something like that. And I'm like, yeah, like it is really that deep to me. And I feel like now that I'm old enough and like I'm in a space where I can be conscious about like the brands I choose to wear on my body, like I just feel like I'd rather it be brands that respect my culture. Jalen Davis says, same, I'm trying to be intentional with my spending power. Yeah, like we have like a lot of purchasing power in the Black community. I can't remember the exact statistic, but I remember when I did a pitch competition, I had to like research the spending and purchasing power of Black women and just women across the African diaspora. And it was in the trillions, like it was something crazy. And so I was just like, okay, if I put most of my money, like when I have to buy makeup, if I bought from some of the Black owned brands that I like are like Mented. Mented Cosmetics is really good. What else? Black Radiance, Fashion Fair now. Like I only use like 3 brands right now. I only use like NARS, Lancome, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like maybe Glossier. And so I'm like, if I replace those 3 brands with Black owned brands, like at least I know I'm pouring money into brands that are doing something for my community. And it goes back to what I said in like some of my lives last week. Like we have more power than we realize, especially as young Black people. Like people were boycotting for months. And I think like maybe because people are desensitized to the gravity of what we are seeing happen in some parts of the US. I'm like, guys, you gotta stay woke. You gotta stay ready, bruh. Like, gotta always stay ready, and stay ready in the sense of like knowing when it's time to direct your energy to the cause. Like, let's be real, you know, there's a lot happening right now, and I've been off TikTok for months, which I'm so happy, because when people are like brain rot this, brain rot that, I'm like, what is that? Like, what is brain rot? Because for me, I would never allow anything to take away the $500,000 worth of knowledge that I suffered to put into this head. Tapioca is not my portion. It can never go away. Like, so I'm always like coming up with books that I need to read and things to write and things to do to keep my mind sharp. But I remember I was scrolling and I'm like seeing, you know, suggestions like on YouTube, and it goes back to what I said about like, would you rather go see a play in real time by a Black creative or see a Black creative do a skit? Like, I'd rather experience it in person. I'd rather experience something like that isn't just a packaged 3-minute thing online. And like, I was seeing all of these essays like, why, and these are from Black creators, like, oh, why seems dolls could never be brats, or like just very elementary subjects, if that makes sense. And I was like, wow, somebody really sat down, a grown-up to do a whole comparison video on Barbie dolls when we are literally in the middle of like the Black Renaissance. Like, I don't know, there's just something happening right now, and I feel like I'm seeing little things happen, like Atlanta being highlighted in Vogue Business. The world is waking up. I know we don't need approval from these institutions, but to me, I feel like that's always a sign. Like, once certain populations start noticing certain things, that's how you already know, oh, we're striking gold, because that's when they start trying to circulate and be like, oh, we discovered this. No, you did not. We've seen Dreamgirls. Remember, Motown was already doing what they were doing, and that's when the Oyinbo people came and said, ooh, what's this? Let's take what they're doing and turn it into something else. And it goes back to even like what Dapper Dan, when he was putting, you know, these logos and making it look fresh and like making it like kind of appeal to more of an urban street crowd, like from where he was in Harlem. I think like you later see that influence, and even Karl Lagerfeld had a collection that he did for Chanel, and it was like the chains, the gold, the material, everything was very like, it kind of emanated that vibe that we saw with like Dapper Dan and stuff. And so I think like anywhere you look, you can see the existence of Black ingenuity in this country. And we need to just start shining our eyes and appreciating it. Okay, hold on. Let me see what you said, Jalen. I can't even read it on my phone. I love plays. I saw a few last year in Dallas. Oh my gosh, same, Jalen. Like, I used to do musical theater and stuff, so I love a good play. Like, I love it. The last play I saw was The House That Cannot Stand, or That Will Not Stand, because someone in my network was a star in the play, and so we were all part of this scholarship organization. So a few of us went to go see her in the play, but that was really good. And I do want to see more plays and stuff, because I just feel like, I don't know, like, there's so much community in that, and every part of history in which Black people were able to make it, we were coming together and appreciating art together. Yo, Jayla Davis says some video essays are a bit pointless and just filled with filler and fluff. Deadass. Like, I was shocked. No, like, I was like, oh, Debbie, are you being elitist right now because like I was just like I can't imagine being a full-blown adult and I'm putting hours. I make YouTube videos, okay? So I'm like it takes time to sit, film, edit, find B-roll, all of that stuff. You're putting in hours as a grown adult into making a video about my seeing dolls versus brats, or just some like rudimentary type of topics that I'm like, guys, like it's giving y'all are not reading new information. It's giving, I don't know, it's just giving like stunted because I think like that's also why I'm glad I've been off of TikTok, because I know like everybody's right now is talking about, or not everybody, a lot of people are talking about like Tyler the Creator and this and I'm just like every few years there's always some topic that comes up, but we never really get to a consensus on how to move forward. Like every few years there's something that comes up that makes us kind of dance around the subject of certain things. Like maybe we'll dance around colorism, or we'll dance around like violence in the community. Like something will happen and it's like we could have a better conversation, but then we don't. And so I just think I had to chuckle like when I was like, man, there's so many things. Okay, fine, even if you don't want to talk about anything serious, like there's a lot of really cool stuff happening in Black creative spaces right now. And I think a lot of us are just making something from nothing. And that has always been the recipe to success for Black creativity and Black ingenuity in this country. And so I just feel like we already have the blueprint. That's the generational wealth that we have, like that blueprint of resilience and how to make something shake when you only have like a little bit. And that's where our riches will come from. Like literally we're magical essentially. I don't know, like that's the only way I can really express it. Jalen Davis says, sometimes I forget that people making a living off of making videos might not have a W-2. Yeah, like it is definitely a job, but sometimes I'm just like, this is what you chose to make a video on? I'm confused. I feel like I like a lot of the content that is kind of, what is the word, anthropological in nature. Like it's like this is what is happening, and somebody who is educated and like researched, well read, but also entertaining tells me, like it helps me understand, okay, like what are consumers thinking. So I love watching content on like luxury fashion and sustainability and consumer behavior and things like that. But I think that's also because I'm kind of a nerd, and also at every juncture in my career, like back when I was in corporate, all of the advice was always stay in the know about what's happening in your industry with your competitors. Even if you are like an indie brand and you're building a luxury brand from scratch, okay, what is Hermes doing? What is Dior doing? Who is doing what they're doing right and who is flopping? Like, because it's just really good information, I think. And so I love creators that I'm learning something from them. I think in terms of entertainment, I don't know, I can keep myself pretty entertained. Like I also grew up not being allowed to watch that much TV. So I think I'm so grateful that my parents were strict like that, because I really look at people, I'm like, wow, like y'all are consuming the most pointless BS. Yo, what? Like, you gotta guard your mind. You've got to guard your mind. Especially right now. Like, I'm scrolling, I'm seeing women willingly submit themselves as agents of the patriarchy, saying, woman, men are meant to lead, da, 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 da. And I'm just like, okay, listen, I get polarity in a heterosexual relationship, but the world does not exist in the vacuum of a heterosexual relationship. Like, women can open businesses. Like, that has nothing to do with a woman being able to be like, hello, let's look at what's her name. Is her name Melody Hobbs and George Lucas? right? I think those are the right names. George Lucas, Star Wars, and I think Melody Hobson or Hobbs or something like that. These are both very successful people. And I don't think if she had stayed in the kitchen, I don't even think he would have even noticed her. Like, what? You know? And so I just feel like I say all that to say, just, I don't know, like a lot of the content, it's not even worth consuming. So you might as well. That's why I think it's the best time to be an artist, because like there's so much BS out there right now that it's just better to just make your own stuff. And then when people are gonna start craving real art again, because they are, I think everybody's getting a little bit fatigued with just what's been shoved down our throats. And like for me, it's very easy for me to resist that stuff because, like I said, I was not allowed to watch TV during the week growing up. And then on weekends, my cutoff was 6 p.m. On Sundays, my parents did not play. Like, my mom had us doing summer bridge during the summer, like that type of thing. And so if I was bored, my mom would be like, read a book, paint a picture, do something. Like, you're not gonna just sit in front of the TV and just watch TV all day. And so like, for me, I view watching TV as like some background noise, or even if I want to be entertained, like I'm sitting down, I'm present, like I want to watch this movie, that kind of thing. Okay, Jalen Davis says, same, that's what I want to get my master's in. Oh wait, what do you want to get your master's in? Cool. I love higher education. I did my master's in public affairs at Brown, and I think if I could go back, I sometimes think like, was my master's worth it? Yes, I just wish I wish I got more money. I got a half scholarship, and that still costs a lot of money. And before I went back to grad school, I was debt free because I had a full ride to Brown for undergrad. So all I'll say is try to find a way to get a full ride. Look for like nonprofits that give scholarships. Look for a company that will sponsor your education in exchange for you working for them for a couple of years. Something, because there's organizations that want to give money, but that's like my only thing that I wish I would have done differently with my master's. Master's in sustainability, dope, yeah. That's the future. Like, I feel like people who are into green energy, clean energy, sustainability, how to build sustainable supply chains, which the more I build out my supply chain and like work with suppliers and things like that, I feel like the more I get into that world, I'm like, it's really not that hard to be conscious with your supply chain. But these companies in the fashion world will make it seem like it takes an arm and a leg to not, engage with child labor, or to not engage with like environmental degradation. Like it makes the cost of production higher for sure. And of course, like consumers absorb that cost. However, in the long run, I think it benefits producers and consumers. So yeah, like I'm keeping my brand as sustainable as I can, like in terms of what I create on my own. I work with actual artisans. So, I think that like I didn't have a say in how, Kate Spade or Nasty Gal or Abercrombie made their stuff. So like, I can only do my best with like painting what I already have in my closet. But in terms of like what I sell to y'all, like from my actual line, yeah, like that's why my shirts are 100% organic cotton, and that's why like I use real leather that like will last for years, not pleather that is going to fall apart, after like a year. But anyway, Sha, like I want to show you guys what this is looking like, but I feel like it needs to dry a little bit, and then I'll get off. Jalen Davis says, yeah, ethical sourcing is not that hard. It's not. Like, it really isn't. Like, literally, I was talking to this fabric supplier that I'm talking to see if they can print my pieces or print my artwork and my patterns on the textiles that I want to use for my line in the way that I want them to be printed, because screen printing and getting prints on like high quality fabrics is actually quite costly. And so the supplier that I work with for my leather bags, a small studio in London, and like they be charging, and like I mean the quality is so nice, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like fine, it's a luxury brand, cool, whatever. However, for like some of the more like not made to order but like ready to wear pieces that I want to put out, probably like end of Q1 2026, I'm talking to this fabric supplier in Africa, in West Africa. And like basically they have different options. So if you like want to start a fashion brand, just giving some behind the scenes, essentially like you want to be very present when you're deciding what fabrics to work with, because that's what's hurting that brand on Muse right now in a PR way. I'm sure they're still making lots of sales, but like CEO to CEO, what I'm seeing is that they made a lot of claims like about being sustainable and all of that, and then people were realizing, wait, this is polyester. And if you look at polyester, it's not like an organic material. Like polyester is basically the fabric equivalent of plastic. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I obviously know I don't want to use certain materials. And so like working with this, or like when I was discussing with the fabric supplier in West Africa, they were telling me, yeah, like you can print XYZ on cotton, or you might have to do a cotton polyester blend. And then so I'm asking, okay, what percentage of that blend would be polyester? And so I say this to say it's not that hard to make the conscious decision to say, oh, I'm only working with these types of fabrics that were created in this type of way. It's not that hard. It's just that we live in a society where people like to cut costs. And I'm just like, your profit margins are already so high. Like when I look at these corporations, I'm like, y'all already have like an insanely high profit margin. It makes no sense to denigrate like public goods, like the air that we all breathe and the waters that we all rely on to live. Like it makes no sense to degrade the environment just to raise your profit margins a little bit higher. Like I just feel like not cool, not cool. So for my fashion line, like I am really working on making sure like my supply chain reflects my values, and that like even when I'm painting wearable art, it's brands that also for the most part reflect my values. Like obviously nobody is perfect, and like yeah. Nobody is perfect. However, I'm trying my best. Okay, so Jalen Davis says, what's your thoughts on certain fabrics negatively affecting women's health? Like which fabrics? Because I know that there are certain chemicals from fabric production that do affect women's health. I actually did a lot of essays and like research on this during undergrad. So I studied international political economy, and I remember we took this like anthropology class on global something something. Like we were just looking at corporate social responsibility, and I think it was like Guadalajara, Mexico, where there were like a lot of factories that mostly women and children were working in, and the pollutants from the chemicals in the factories that were used to like create like rubber and like just little things that are added to what we wear here in the US, all of those chemicals were affecting the water supply, and it was disproportionately affecting the woman and the children's health. And so even like when I look at the Niger Delta where my family is from, there is a lot of research that shows that like because of the water pollution that comes from the oil spills and things like that, like it disproportionately affects women and children. So my thoughts are, I think we need to do better about waste, because I think like there's chemicals in poorly made clothing. I think it goes back to like spending more money on high quality fabrics. Like I was raised by a woman who was very stylish, but also very conscious of like the materials that she had us wear. And like she would tell us it's better to spend more money on something high quality than buy something that is cheap that is going to fall apart. So like I don't shop at certain places, and if I find, I try to like continuously do research, but I do think that like a lot of these companies are not going to change how they do things unless we stop buying certain things. Like at the end of the day, like Shein doesn't have the incentive to do better or to go away if people still buy Shein. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't even tell y'all really the last time I've like shopped, like blowout shopped, because I don't know, like I will buy things that I'm like, okay, this is gonna last me a long time, and luckily I can sew. So I don't know, like I feel like the same thing about makeup. Like I feel like it's more so in makeup that women need to be careful, because a lot of makeup uses bad chemicals, like a lot of, and that's why I feel like this whole push for young girls to wear so much makeup, it doesn't make sense to me, because I'm like, that can really affect their skin in a way that they're not ready for. That's why I mentioned like I pretty much only use 3 brands that I know use high quality materials. But like women, when we are able to really like find natural, sustainable ways to keep our beauty routines popping, I feel like that's when we can win. Because there's a lot of things that capitalism has told us to do, and it's just like you don't actually need that. So Jalen Davis says, true indeed, no Old Navy, H&M and Express for me. Yeah, like because I feel like it's like what we didn't know. Like in college I used to love Zara. Like I used to always shop at Zara, H&M. I'm a college student, it's 2018. I didn't know, like Zara was kind of premium for me at that point. But then like as I got older and I started learning more about the fashion industry and stuff, I was just like, I don't want to buy from these places anymore, because one, y'all are greenwashing, and then also like the values of these companies, one, are not even reflected well in the integrity of the products themselves. Like the products don't last, the corporate social responsibility is not giving. It's just, I don't know. Um, okay, Jalen Davis says, if you don't mind me asking, what age did you start wearing makeup, and did you feel societal pressure to do so, and when did you unpack that? Very interesting question. So I wasn't allowed to wear makeup in high school or middle school. I actually got in big trouble wearing mascara. Like I would sneak to wear mascara. But yeah, so like I didn't start wearing makeup until I got to college, so around 18. And I think like even the makeup I was wearing, it was very minimal. Like I wasn't doing a full beat. Like it was like pressed powder from Iman Cosmetics, black owned, like so I just knew like Jackie Aina was a creator I loved watching. Oh, she's so nice. I just met her. She's like awesome. But like I was really into stuff like that. But in college, yeah, it wasn't until college, because my mom just did not allow me and my sisters to wear makeup. She said there was no point. And I think because of that, I focused on my skincare. And like I always get compliments to this day, like about my skin and stuff. Like I think I'm happy that I didn't really succumb to societal pressures in terms of makeup. Like if I want to wear it, I'm gonna wear it. Luckily I love beauty and I love fashion and stuff like that, but like you guys have probably never seen me pivot to being like a creator that's like, look at all this makeup I bought. Like I feel like it does more harm than good, to be quite honest. And I feel like there's so many natural ways that we can keep ourselves looking beautiful as women, and not even to like, not even in a way to like attack women who wear makeup, because I wear makeup, I like to wear makeup, but I don't think that it's necessary like for us to always have a full beat. And I think it's more so, I view it as like painting. Like, remember when I was like painting this bag and I was like, oh, it feels like I'm doing my makeup right now. Like, that's kind of how makeup feels like for me. Like, some days I want to do certain things, I want to express myself with certain things. But I think what is sick to me is telling young women that they need to turn their faces into a certain way to attract male attention, or to be like taken seriously, or to meet a certain level of sex appeal. Like, I'm not about that. Like, I just feel like the I'm going to talk about this in the December issue, but just basically I think the proliferation of like sex work and stuff like that has definitely impacted how young women think that they should express themselves, like with their beauty and their makeup and stuff like that. And so it's just an interesting conversation that I think has multiple layers, but I hope that answers. um yeah, like, I'm very stubborn, so if society is pushing something, I'm the way I'm wired is to do the opposite. Like, I've always said I never want to be a follower. Like, my mom would always say, if those people jump off a bridge, will you follow them? Will you go and join them? And like, I think like from a young age, like my parents just raised me to not follow. This is still not dry. Oh my gosh, I want to show this to you, but I don't want to mess it up. But yeah, like, just not to be a follower. And so I don't think, like, even when I wasn't wearing makeup in high school, I was still beautiful. So like, I don't know. I just feel like I never succumbed to certain pressures. Now, there were certain things that like I think I thought more about, but like, yeah, like, I think there were just so many things that I filled my mind with as a young woman in my teens, like, that did not revolve around men or like makeup or like anything that had to do with, oh, like, how does society view me. I just was very focused on like my dreams, my goals. And you know, I knew I wanted to work in fashion, I knew I wanted to work in beauty. And so even if I did engage with beauty and makeup, it was more so from a place of like, oh, this is artistry, not like I need to wear this to cover up this and mold my face to be XYZ. Like, I hope that makes sense. But yeah. Okay, so I did say I'd probably get off in an hour. So this is not completely dry, so I'm going to try not to mess it up when I show you. I say as I almost mess it up. Okay. Yikes. Okay, so this is it so far. I'm going to turn the shirt into a white and black Parisian style striped shirt. But that's what it's looking like. And hope I didn't get any paint on me. I know I did a little bit. I'm gonna like go and work on that and see how to get that off. But okay, y'all, so this has been a great live. I'm always happy. Oh, thanks. Okay, Jalen Davis says looks very nice. Thank you. I'm always happy to have these conversations. Jalen, you always ask really cool questions, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. We'll be finishing, or I might finish this off live today. I don't know. Like, I am enjoying painting, but I also have some admin stuff I need to do. But yeah, so let me make sure, Jalen, that I didn't miss anything you said. But yeah, I feel like we talked about some good stuff. I'm glad you said you enjoyed the live. Yeah, I always enjoy your questions, but I think like you have such an inquisitive mind, so I wish you the best of luck with your master's in sustainability. And if you ever have questions about a master's program, maybe I can talk more about that, because I did study, like, I studied public affairs, and I feel like there was a lot of sustainability and like public policy, the private sector, and how all of that like interacts with each other was definitely part of the subject matter we looked at. So yeah, and decolonizing visual spaces, because you know I always had to like get into that as well. But let me see if I missed anything in the chat. But yeah, like, so that's that for today. Ideally, I'm going to also start this week on this jacket. So let me show you guys what it actually looks like on. Okay, so I'm going to paint this jacket. Let me see. Wonderful will do. Thanks. Okay, it's kind of like over the sweater, it's a little bit much. Okay, so it's a moto jacket, but I want to paint like these areas and like add a cool design. And then I'm wanting to also paint, so I'm also going to paint this Tory Burch bag that I mentioned. I was like, it's not my usual style, but I think I could like paint it in a way where it looks really cute, because I want to add some like red and black and green, I don't know, and like some beige, white. Like I want to turn this jacket into something a bit more artsy, and so I think these lighter brown areas will be where I paint, and just to like give it an accent type of thing. And then I'm going to like paint something cool, I think, on probably these two areas. But yeah, so that's what's going to be next in the studio. But yeah, so I'll be doing that, and we're still on our path to 1,000. So like I said, I will be going live every weekday until I hit 1,000, and then I'll probably go to like 3 days a week live, because I'm realizing I need my Mondays and my Fridays. Okay, Jayla Davis says, wonderful, will do. Yay, yeah. So I am excited to keep taking y'all along this journey. Let me like hang this back up. But yeah, so okay. On that note, let me hop off, but I hope you guys had a good time. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe. I love you guys. Bye.